So let's go into selection reactions for the final time as we go into round 6 of the Rugby Championship. The championship is on the line. We look at the table and South Africa actually only need a losing bonus point, but of course they're going to want to win with a win in South Africa to get that title and break the run of wins of New Zealand in this championship. Indeed, New Zealand have 20, and this actually would be South Africa's only 5th time of winning, moving one ahead of Australia, which is an interesting stat, but they're in pole position. Can they do it? We'll have a look at their team in a minute. Argentina, we know they have to beat South Africa with a 5-0 in championship points to get the win, so it's possible, but unlikely. But we will see Argentina, I am sure, turning down loads of kicks at goal, going for that bonus point because, of course, it's 3 or more tries in South Africa and getting the win. So that's a really tough one, a bit tougher than in other competitions, that's for sure. New Zealand still have a lot to play for. They're 3 championship points behind Argentina, so they could leapfrog into second if they beat Australia in Wellington. Now, Australia can't move above the foot of the table, so they've got pride to play for, but they need to show they can perform for a full 80 minutes because they've had some disastrous periods interspersed with some decent ones as well. Rassie went early with his team. I waited for some of the others, but I don't have Argentina at this time. Rassie, what's he gone for? Well, unsurprisingly, it's his first choice team, but on the face of it, you look at it and there's a few selections there you think, is that first choice? But I think it is logical. The headline there is starting Libbok at 10, who had those 2 horror kick mistakes at the end of the last match, which potentially cost the match. And yeah, it looks a bit contradictory, but actually I think it kind of makes sense, because is it just give him another chance? I'm not so sure. They've got 2 fly halves left with Sasha Feinberg-Magomezulu needing an operation. So it's basically, who do you have closing out the match, assuming Pollard can't go the full 80? Who do you want coming on in the high pressure situation? Well, it's probably Pollard. Have Libbok there, a bit lower pressure to express himself. The guy's got loads of skills. Can he kick under pressure? That is a good question. So I think it is the best way round in retrospect. Pollard, you'd say, hasn't been perfect either. He missed some key tackles in the last match against Argentina, but I think it's the best combo they've got, although a little bit worried in the halfback stakes. Hendricks are there. Has he done enough to nail down that starting tag? I don't know. I probably would have had Williams there, but I think he's got an injury. So Reinach again has been so-so. You could have had them either way round. So a bit of a coin toss at 9. The young Vandenberg is in the squad as well, but no experience. So yeah, halfback's not looking the strongest, I'd say, in a normal South Africa team. The rest, though, is pretty settled. Fassi, I'd say, is the one coming into the team, but he's had plenty of fine performances to say, I can do it at the top level, so I don't think that's a problem. And then the rest is kind of as expected. Delandi and Creel back together. Arinza and Colby back together on the wings. In the front row, of course, it's Unche, Umbanabi, Malherbe, with Marks going back to his role as starter. Steenekamp had people a little bit worried when he came on for his scrummaging. I'm not sure there's a better option at the moment. I don't know if Kitsoff is quite the player he used to be. In the second rows, Norkia has emerged as a starter in this team, so that is great. There's more second rows to come back for injury later, but well done to him. Him and Etzebeth, a very good pairing. And then the flankers, their first choice flankers of Khaleesi on the open side, Peter Steph-Toy back on the blind side. I don't think he was under any pressure from that game from Ben Jason Dixon, who isn't even in the squad. Indeed, I think he's been released back to his club, as a few players have. The battle for 8 is interesting. It's close. Vita is hanging on. Lowe maybe has a few more skills around him. He's on the bench. They've gone for a 5-3 bench with no clear second row on the bench. Murat was kind of okay, I guess, a bit anonymous against Argentina, so I think it's fair enough because you can move Peter Steph-Toy to second row, then Lowe covers blindside at number 8, Quacker Smith open side, then you've got the 3 backs on the bench there. You've got Am covering the centres, 12 and 13, and it looks like Creel covers wing Colby to 15, so you can do the jiggling around there. But yeah, it is strange to see not having a replacement second row on a bench, so they are saying to Murat, probably not quite good enough, or maybe they just want the impact of Lowe and Smith that much more. Let me know what you think of that team. Predictions for the game. I think South Africa will have too much at home with their first choice team, even though I'm a little bit worried maybe about the halfbacks. it should be too much. They should get the win. Will it be a bonus point win? I'm not sure about that, but it'll be enough and they can lift the trophy at home. That is my prediction. Do you agree? Then on to the All Blacks versus Australia in Wellington this time. They did just enough to hang on in Australia. They're going to want a more convincing performance, and I think convincing is the one to say they're on the right track with this new look team, if you like, under Robertson as the new coach. De Groot, Taylor, Lomax, I think is no doubt their best front row. We haven't quite had the impact from the bench we wanted, so Amua, Williams and Tossi will want to stand up, that's for sure, when they come on. They've shuffled a bit on the bench to try to get some more impact. Tuipulotu is one of those. Darry's got inexperience, so I think it's fine to bring Tuipulotu on to maybe get a bit more bulk on the pitch, a bit more impact. And they've kept Ratimer back, McKenzie back. Maybe these guys will have the impact they're after. We will see. Second rows of Barrett and Vai is no surprise. They've been the best two, I would say. Satiti has kind of nailed down that 6 slot for now. I'm pretty sure, like I've said, it is an apprenticeship for number 8 eventually, but he's been box office, as has Surveyor in patches. Kane's been honest and hard-working. I've got nothing against Sam Cane. Some people say I'm a little bit of a hater on him. I'm not. I'm just thinking it's coming towards the end of his career. He's stopping at the end of the year. Is it time to rotate some other guys in and have a look? I'm not saying there's an absolute heir apparent. Maybe it's Lackey coming in eventually, the young open side. But anyway, he goes again and he gets 100 caps. So maybe that is part of the reason why he's in. Dare I say, a little bit of sentiment in this team. They've got Perinara starting in his home stadium, so maybe that's got a little bit to do with it. We've got a change in centres because, of course, Geordie Barrett is injured, and Leonard Brown was the obvious choice, I think, although Havili can play there as well, and he's on the bench. And it's such a shame we haven't seen Proctor at all in this championship, because I thought he had a really good run at that 13 shirt with his form in Super Rugby, so it's a bit of a shame, bit of a chance missed, I think. But when you lose one centre, you don't want to change the other as well. I get that. But he could have been on the bench, but Havili, I think, covers more, so I kind of get it, but a bit disappointing. I think it's a bit of a shame to bench Ratimer. I probably would have started him because he's looking like the number one at the moment, so it would be nice to have that consistency. But they've gone for Beauden Barrett with Perinara. They've played together before a lot. They've rotated out McKenzie, which I think's fair enough, because McKenzie's done plenty of good things, but also made some rash decisions and butchered some key scoring chances, so maybe his role is better off the bench, but he's shown he can do it. He's shown he's got lots of ability, but not quite fully taken the chance. Then on the wings, Caleb Clark has looked fantastic, one of the players of the tournament. Another chance at 15 for Will Jordan to see if he can start to nail down that shirt. It's the shirt that he wants. Severis had a better game against Australia than he has previously, so that's good news. But is there enough on the bench there to make that impact? Luke Jacobson coming on, maybe an open side. I don't know if it's the perfect team. I don't know if it's the best All Blacks team we've ever seen, but at home, I think it should be too much for Australia. It all depends if Australia make loads and loads of mistakes, or the All Blacks can run away with it. If they do start running away with it, the question is, can they close it out in the last 20 by stepping on the accelerator rather than on the brake? I think the All Blacks will have too much, so let me know what you think there. Finally, let's talk about the Wallabies that are travelling to Wellington. Bell and Tupu are their best two props, but they're much better when they get the ball in their hands. A little bit quiet in the last match. Frost and Williams in the second row are so-so compared to other second rows for the Wallabies in the past. I think they're a little bit average. And then we've got the centres there of Paisami Ikitau. Again, a good pairing. Not 100% convinced they're the best centres we've had, and the theme is the same at 9 and 10. Gordon and Lolosio, maybe their first choice, maybe they're not, but they're not that great compared to other Wallabies 9s and 10s. So let me know if that's harsh, but that's kind of my take of the spine of the team. In the back row, we know Valentini can have massive games. Hopefully he'll have one here. McGrath looked great actually in the last match. Really good in attack and defence and over the ball. Really good all-round performance. Can he do that again? Harry Wilson is a fantastic footballer. And then in the back three, we have an injury to Coram Betty, and maybe it strengthened them a bit, because I think Coram Betty is probably on the way out. Dylan Peach comes in on the wing, and he is strong and physical. I think he'll add a bit of punch to that attack. Kellaway didn't have a good game in the last one, so he'll want to do a lot better. I think he's better at 15, but then you lose that counter-attacking of Wright, which was so good in the last match. He adds that serious pace to the back backline coming in at 15. We're going to see Josh Fluke as well into the centres. Maybe he can do something there. A little unlucky on Tate McDermott not getting a start. Donaldson had a shout at starting, so I think it is probably the most settled they could go for. I don't think it's an all-time great Wallabies team, but if they can play nice and clean, low mistakes, they can definitely stay in there. I'm not quite sure they've got enough if the All Blacks are playing really well as well to win. Let me know what you think. That's my take on the teams. What's going to happen in the final round? Comments below. Like, subscribe if you're into these sorts of videos. That would be awesome, and I'll catch you next time.